So I'm gonna be ranking every single weapon in Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, I found this TierMaker list and it has all of the weapons, including the original games, but I'm only gonna be doing the remake ones. So I am going to be starting with the obvious, and that is the TMP. I'm gonna be putting the TMP on S purely because the TMP is very underrated. The best thing about the TMP is that when you upgrade it to the max, it becomes extremely fast. Now, it does deal very little damage per bullet, but it shoots extremely quickly, so it deals a ton of damage in very quick succession. Okay, so I'm gonna be doing SMGs. So the LE5, I'm gonna be putting the LE5 on B purely because I don't think it's that great, but it's also not that bad either. I think it's very easily replaceable with a lot of weapons like the Stingray or the CQBR even, or the TMP. So the Stingray, I'm gonna be putting the Stingray on S tier purely because I'm just a sucker for sniper rifles that are semi-automatic. I also like the original semi-automatic rifle, so I really enjoyed it. So it's just great, one-shot kill on pretty much any headshot, and it's super fast. It deals a ton of damage to weak spots, and yeah, the fire rate and the ammo capacity are amazing. Next up, we have another sniper, so I'm gonna be putting the bolt action sniper on A. The only downside to the bolt action sniper is, of course, is that it's very slow, and you have to do the lever thingy. But in terms of damage, it deals more damage than the Stingray, but so it deals more damage per bullet, but the Stingray does deal more damage per second as it shoots faster. So it really is just down to preference. I personally really like the bolt action rifle to kill the Gigante or the Garador in the castle, because they take a lot of damage by when you shoot them with in the Plaga. Alright, next up, let's do handguns, shall we? I'm gonna go with Matilda on tier B purely because cat ears are the only way to use this weapon. Without the cat ears, the Matilda kinda is... it's alright, but there is no real reason why you should use this weapon other than unless you wanna have the 3-round burst. But it's also like a lot of... it's a big investment in spinels, and it's a lot of investment. Like, you need the stock for it, you need a ton of ammo. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but yeah, I don't really like it that much unless I'm using cat ears. If you're using cat ears, the weapon is amazing, and if you have a lot of ammo, I guess it's also really amazing. So it is down to ammo, really. All right, next up we have the what is this? The Blacktail. I'm putting the Blacktail on A. The only downside to the Blacktail is that the ammo capacity is just kind of lacking, but it is an amazing weapon. It deals a ton of damage, and it's probably the most versatile weapon in the handgun category, at least in the entire game. There's not much to say other than it's really good. Okay, so next up we have the SG09. Where's the SG09? Is this the SG09? I think this is the SG09. Yeah, so we're gonna put the SG09. I think that's the SG09. Yeah, we're gonna put the SG09 on tier A also. But yeah, so we're gonna be putting the SG09 on tier A also because I really like the one-shot kill exclusive upgrade ticket. If you don't know, the exclusive upgrade ticket on the SG09 makes you deal more critical damage to, you have a higher chance to one-shot enemies in the head, so it's really good. So the Red 9, I'm gonna be putting the Red 9 on tier B because I don't know, man, the Red 9 is just really good, but it lacks a lot in fire rate. You need the stock for it to be at its full potential, and but yeah, it deals a ton of damage, so it's a great weapon, but I feel like putting it on B right now. The Sentinel 9, it's either B or... okay, let's just put it on A because it's basically the SG09. But if I were to pick one, I would pick the SG09 any day. And last but not least, we have the Punisher. I just don't like the Punisher at all. It deals very little damage. It costs a ton of spinels to purchase. Even when you fully upgrade it, is not that great. I know you might be thinking, oh, you can shoot through enemies and the shield guys and you can line them up and all that. I'm like, okay, it's all down to playstyle. In my own playstyle, I don't think the Punisher is that great. But of course, any weapon can work, and yeah, it's a good weapon, but it is easily beaten by the others when it comes to pure raw damage. And just personally, my own style is a lot more. If it's something like the SG09 suits my playstyle more than the Punisher, but yeah, I just don't like it that much. All right, so let's do shotguns. Shotguns, for me, I assume this is the W870. So the W870 gets put on A. The W870 is just amazing. It deals a ton of damage. It is great early on. You can split enemies in half, and it's just purely amazing. It deals a ton of damage, and yeah. But the riot gun easily beats the W870 because it simply shoots faster. It deals less damage per bullets, or per slug, and it has less spread, but it makes up for the damage by being a long-range shotgun, and also having a tighter spread and just shooting a lot faster than W870. It's all down to preference. If I were to pick one, I would go with riot gun, but I think the W870 is just as good as the riot gun, because if I need to shoot far further, I'd just use a sniper, so I don't really need a shotgun sniper, if that makes sense. The Skull Shaker, I think it's what it's called. It's awful. It's just terrible weapon. It's really fun to use, but it's just a terrible weapon. It has 2 bullets in a chamber, or whatever. Sorry, I'm not a gun enthusiast, so I don't know what to call it, but you know what I mean. Like, it has 2 in ammo capacity when you start off with it. It deals, I think, the same amount of damage as the W870, if not slightly more. But I believe the W870 does end up dealing more damage at the end. Anyway, yeah, I don't like it that much. Next up, we have the Striker. The Striker is just meh. It's okay, it's alright, but I just feel like it sits in that in-between of not too good, but also not that bad either. That's why I'm putting it on B. The spread on the Striker is just awful. It doesn't make it a good shotgun. It is a great weapon to use against bosses like the Vertigo and things like that. But other than that, I would take any other shotgun any other day. Yes, including the maybe not the lever action one, but the W870 any day. Alright, next up, we have the Bolt Thrower. Let's just put it on C because there is no lower tier. But otherwise, I already made a video about the Bolt Thrower, but otherwise this weapon is just terrible, awful. Ugh, don't use it. But the attachable mines are pretty good. They're really good. But it's just very easily replaced by TMP or something like that. Next up, we have the CQBR. So the CQBR also sits in that, I don't know, kind of tier of like in the middle, in between, you know what I mean? It's great if you have cat ears, but it's also like kind of meh, easily replaced by any other rifle or even the LE5 sometimes. But CQBR deals probably the most damage per second in all of the Resident Evil 4 Remake weapons, but it just uses sniper rifle ammo, which is not very common, so I'm gonna have to put it on B. But if we're talking about cat ears, definitely is one of the best weapons to use any day. But yeah, without cat ears, it's kind of alright, but easily replaced by other things. Okay, so we've got the Killer 7. The Killer 7 is an A tier weapon. It has a laser sight. It is simply amazing. It deals a ton of damage. It's very good. There's not much to say. It's a Magnum, so yeah. But I personally prefer the Broken Butterfly. Now, the Broken Butterfly deals a ton more damage than the Killer 7, but the biggest downside is that it doesn't have a laser sight, and it's slightly less... it's slightly inaccurate, but really you only need 1 bullet, so again, it's really great against bosses. You shouldn't really be using it against anything else other than bosses, and it's amazing with cat ears, which give you infinite ammo. So the hand cannon is being put on C because there is no lower tier. But yeah, the hand cannon is just awful, terrible, terrible, terrible weapon. It's fun to use for sure, but if I were to do I did do an entire playthrough with it, and it was just terrible, just awful. You end up wasting so much time, you end up missing 90% of your shots. But yes, there is some skill involved with the hand cannon, but even with the skill, like everything that the hand cannon does can be easily replaced by anything else, really, like a sniper rifle or something like that, and you don't even need cat ears with those. So next up we have the Chicago Sweeper. Once again, Chicago Sweeper, great weapon if you want to get S+ very easily, but even with the exclusive infinite ammo or cat ears, it just is not that great. The spreads goes everywhere. It's not even that fun to use because it's like, it doesn't really feel that satisfying. But yeah, it's a good weapon, but easily replaced by anything else, and you really don't need it to get cat ears, trust me, to get S+ in professional. I'm just gonna put it on B because I don't think it's as bad as the hand cannon. There we go. It's a meh kind of weapon. Yeah, that's my TierMaker tier list. You can find the tier list in the description down below. If you want to do your own tier list, go ahead and share with me on Discord. Join us on Discord. Send it to me. There is a Resident Evil chat. You can go ahead and add me, and we can talk about more things, or you can just comment down below what your TierMaker tier list would be. What would you put on your tier S? Let me know what you think about it. Subscribe if you want to see more silly stuff like this and more other in-depth stuff. And leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.